This is the iPad mini, and it is a really interesting product. I've written the outline for this video like 3 times because my mind keeps changing on exactly what this iPad is, but I think I've landed somewhere good. Today I'm going to make the case why this is definitely not the iPad for everyone, but some people are really going to love it. Alright, let's get the specs out of the way first because I know a lot of people are going to care about that, and frankly they're really good on this device. The best way to think about this is as a shrunken down iPad Air, which Apple refreshed last year and is still pretty great in its own right. Seriously, it's got the same design, the same Touch ID sensor, although it does feel faster than the Airs to me. It's also got the same wide color P3 laminated display as the Air, the same back camera, and the same Gen 2 Apple Pencil support. But it is different in a couple ways, and I think it's mostly for the better. The Mini has Apple's latest A15 chip, which is the same thing as the iPhone 13 Pro, and the Air has last year's A14. The Mini has a much better 12-megapixel ultra-wide front-facing camera with Center Stage. Center Stage is a feature on the camera that lets apps like FaceTime and Zoom and others track you and other people in the frame dynamically. This is a really cool feature, although I do think it likes to crop in a little tighter than I'd personally prefer. Still, being able to just plop down my iPad and not worry about exactly where it's pointing before I get on a video call is a really underrated quality of life improvement. Apple, please bring this feature to the Macs next. And this is a really nitty-gritty detail, but the screen is much smaller than the iPad Air and the iPad Pro 11-inch, obviously, but the pixel count isn't that much smaller, so the pixel density is actually higher. So this device has more pixels per inch than any other iPad Apple has ever made, and that's kind of cool. Ultimately, for $499, this is a pretty good deal. It's got a ton of Apple's latest and greatest technology. The one thing I really wish there was that isn't here is a ProMotion display. I'd love to see those higher refresh rates if possible. I totally understand why it's not here. It's less necessary. It wouldn't make it so they couldn't hit this price point, but it is a thing that I miss. I would like to see a higher frame rate on this. Maybe in a couple years we'll get that. But for now, really good bang for your buck. Now, of course, an iPad is only as good as the apps that run on it, and Drafts is a great app on the iPad and all your other Apple devices, and I wanted to thank Drafts for sponsoring this video. You've heard me talk about Drafts before in this channel, but it's a note-taking app, a writing app, and an automation powerhouse. A brand new version of the app just came out with support for iOS 15 and macOS Monterey, so things like shortcuts on the Mac and live text on iOS 15 work great. I can just enter text into a draft quickly with live text and then act on it with one of the actions I've downloaded into the app. It's super simple. There's also a whole new Apple Watch app that is optimized for capturing ideas quickly. You can choose to capture ideas through your voice, scribbling something down, or presumably using the new keyboard on the upcoming Apple Watch Series 7. Drafts is a free download, so you can give it a shot and see if it works for you. You can download it from the App Store on any of your Apple devices, and again, I wanted to thank Drafts for sponsoring A Better Computer. So there are 2 groups that I think would get a lot of value out of this new iPad. I think the first group is the more traditional content consumption group. These are the people who want to watch video, play games, read books, browse the web. They want to do a little bit of drawing here and there or note-taking here and there. I think this group would really love the iPad mini because it's so compact and does all of these things really well. It has a high quality display just like the iPad Air, so video is going to look really good on it. It's not going to be full HDR, but it's plenty bright and looks really sharp. And then in terms of performance, any game you can download from the App Store is going to run great because of the A15 chip that has tons of graphics performance, is going to run incredibly well. It's just really good. And because the screen is smaller, touch controls are easier to do. You have to stretch your fingers less. If you've ever used a 12.9-inch iPad to play games, it's insane. It's really uncomfortable, and this is much more of a handheld experience that works really nicely. If you're an artist or someone who takes handwritten notes, you're really going to like the Apple Pencil 2 support. So that's the latest Apple Pencil that works great with the iPad as well and snaps right onto the side. And then I think we all have those things we do just on the couch on our phone at the end of the day when we're just unwinding. Your tweets are going to look better on this. Your email is going to be more spacious, and your Zillow listings are going to be all that more beautiful on the bigger screen compared to your phone, which you might be using for this right now. Basically, if you do your real work on a Mac or a PC, then this might be a good iPad for you because it's not trying to be a PC replacement. It totally can do all that. It runs the same operating system and everything. It does basically all the things that the bigger iPads do. It's just so small that it's not really practical to do that, so I find you use it differently. The second group who I think could really get value out of this iPad are professional users who want to use this in a professional setting. And I know that sounds completely opposite of what I just said, but hear me out. The iPad is already really useful for people in lots of professional settings. So if you're a contractor and you need a device that's going to have cellular internet connection, is going to let you like hand it over to have people read things and sign contracts and stuff, take payments on the go, you can use it there. Lots of retailers use it as a point of sale, either locked down to like a thing on a counter, or they have it as a mobile thing that their waiters and everyone can walk around the store with. That's a really nice use case. And you've got it in professional video and photography settings because it's a really great device to have with you. It's really small, fits in a lot of places, and can kind of let you do some editing before you even get to the studio or whatever. I think the really compact size, the A15 processor, and the USB-C connector on the bottom are all things that make this a really compelling product for people who want to do that sort of thing. It's going to make it take less space in your bag. It's going to make it so you can just plug in your USB-C accessories, which a ton of things are these days, plug it straight in. For example, when I am shooting video for this, or when I'm doing things for other things that I do professionally, I need to be able to shoot things, photos and video on my camera. I need to plug it into a device and get those things offloaded so that I can make more space, or so that I can have a backup right away, whatever. And this needs to go fast so I can do my work really quickly. And the ability for me to use a simple little dongle to plug my SD card into the iPad mini and have it offload that super quick is really, really great. And in a way makes this a more professional device, in my use case at least, than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is, you know, it has Pro in the name, but the Mini is technically more professionally useful for me because it can do that offloading so quickly. So that's just me, it's not everyone, but I think that is definitely a compelling use case for people. So I think this product is pretty incredible, and people's reaction to it really backs that up. It seems to be the sort of product where a lot of people are like, I don't need it, but I'm trying to find an excuse to buy one so I can get it into my life. So again, to sum up what I think this is a really good device for people who just want to use an iPad as a very simple device. They don't want it to replace their laptop. They just want something to watch videos on, to read stuff on, to just kind of like browse houses on the internet, right? That's a really good group for it. And I also think it's for people who want to use it in a more focused, more professional way, maybe have a really specific use case for it, and maybe have some extra disposable income that they just want to use on this device. And I totally get it. It's really, really cool, comes in fun colors, and is just a really, really nice product overall. And again, to be very clear, this is really just different from the other iPads in that it's very, very small. It's not different in that it runs worse software. Every single software feature that is on the iPad Pro, even the 12.9 inch, effectively everything is here as well. You can do multitasking, you can plug in your USB-C accessories and everything. It all works great. It's just a matter of screen real estate and how that makes you use the device differently. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you here next time. Bye-bye.